Our universe contains infinite stories, most of which are about rocks and ice at sub-zero temperatures in a vacuum. Rather boring. However, on a small damp rock, there is a story that bears a second look. It's your story. But the first 4 billion years or so mostly concern amino acids. Not much of a page turn. But then, over time, the amino acids bond together, and things start to get interesting. And a bit drier. A certain subspecies of hominid discovers that you can do more with a sharp rock than annoy your little brother. Tools and weapons are invented. The hominids begin to cooperate. Fire becomes a servant rather than an unpredictable force of nature. They learn to tan the skins of animals for clothing. They learn ways to record and probably exaggerate their adventures. Eventually, these tribes learn to build shelters and immediately hold the first barbecue parties. This is the dawn of humankind. Struggle and cooperation have been rewarded. The Neolithic era draws to a close. The whole world beckons. This tribe has come far, but the rest of their story is your story. You are the one who will build them into a great civilization. How far will you push humankind? Here is where it begins. The future that you carve through force of will and a bit of luck, out of the raw stuff of planet Earth. Alliances and enemies, wealth and danger, power and penury. May you leave the greatest mark.
Hey guys, Stealth here and welcome to Humankind. Humankind is the new series on the channel. It's going to last for, well, about as long as the game is going to last or until I get destroyed. Humankind, in case you have never seen it before, is like Civilization, but it is not some Civ clone. There are some very distinct differences here. I'm going to be taking you through the game. I'm assuming that you have never seen it or that you have maybe watched a video on it but never played it. So I'm going to try and explain what I'm doing, why I'm doing it, and what elements are on the screen. There are, however, things that I do not yet know, so I'm going to be learning pretty much along with you. I have done quite a bit of experimentation in the early ages, but not much beyond that. Now, a marked distinction between Humankind and Civilization is that you do not pick a civilization. At least not yet. We're currently in the nomadic tribe, or we are a nomadic tribe in the Neolithic era. And over here on the top left side of the screen, you can see we need growth stars, we can get knowledge stars, and we can get hunter stars. I only need 1 star in order to advance to the next era. And when I do that, then you pick your civilization. But as you go through the ages, your civilization will change. You can start, for example, with, I think it's the Babylonians. And over time, you can then decide to pick up the Romans as you advance to the next era. So, as opposed to Civ, you are not just one civilization. Something else that is distinctly different from Civ is these white dotted lines. These are called territories. And a territory is an area that you can claim. Civilization usually has the culture border system. Your town produces a certain amount of culture, and that determines what your borders are going to be. This time around, not so much. Yes, culture does have an impact, but it is, especially early game, not that important. Because if I were to set up an outpost, then I claim this whole territory for my own. What else can you see on the screen? Top right hand side, we only have currently 1 influence, or 1 resource, which is influence. Influence is stuff that you use to make a city. It's something that you're going to require to claim new territories, and it's something that you can be spending on various civics, among other things. Aside from that, there is not much here. We are going to be picking up money eventually, and various other resources. I can also give you a list of all my military forces, which is just 1 hunting party, and this is another important distinction between Humankind and Civilization. Civilization starts you off usually with a scout and a settler. I do not have a settler, I just have my little hunting party. In order to grow this hunting party, or this tribe, I need to get them food. And I need to get 20 food to do that. Food, incidentally, also gives me growth stars. Or rather, if I get my population from 1 to 2, 2 to 3, 3 to 4, etc., I get to have a potential growth star if I reach 5 population. So, at the moment there's not that much to do, but explore. I do not know how to get here yet, or well, I might be able to, apparently, according to the game, but I'm not going to. I'm just going to be doing a bit of exploring. And over here we find our first curiosity. This is something that I can walk into, and if I do that, I pick up some food. Berries.
I see where this is going.
And this immediately provided 5 food, so I'm now on my way to getting a second group of the tribe. And let's continue on for now. Now, since I'm just a hunting party, I'm just a moving tribe, I do not have any research. So all that is left to do at the moment is just explore. And try to find as many new resources as I can. I just picked up a bunch of nuts, and with that I'm at 15 out of 20. Let's go inland a little bit more. This is interesting to get. This is horse. Very useful for horseback riding and all sorts of chariots. There's also an unknown resource here, as indicated by the question mark. It is a strategic resource, but I don't know what it is. I have not gotten the research to see exactly what sort of research or what sort of resource that is. Next up, we have a science curiosity. And this is going to give me a knowledge star. Or well, it can, if I pick up 10 of them. This one, an ancient encampment, gave me 1 science and 5 influence. Now at the moment, I cannot really do that much with influence. I can, however, claim a territory. The first one's free, the second one becomes more expensive, the third one becomes more expensive again, and so forth. Considering that I have this fairly large area over here, I don't even know how big it is, but it does have horse. So I might want to claim this. And it seems like there is a bit of an up-ramp here, so let's explore onto the hillside. This could make for a very interesting position, and it is going to be easy to defend. Alright, I'm going to pick this up. And now I have an option. I now just got my second part of the tribe. I can split them up, and thereby exploring faster, or I can keep them together, making them stronger if I were to go into combat. There is something to be said for both. For now though, I first want to set up an outpost here, so that I claim the territory. And the outpost is going to cost me 5, which is what I gained from picking up that 1 science curiosity. The question is, where? Because it has to be inside this sphere of influence if I want to claim this territory, which I do because it has horse. This one, however, has porcelain times 2, it has copper, and it has this unknown resource. So this is very tempting. I'm not really in any hurry to start claiming territory yet, so let's have the tribe split up. One's going to go north, and the other one's going to go south. World Deed unlocked. Somebody found the Waterfall Great Blue Hole. I don't know where, but they have found it, and thereby they have claimed fame stars, or fame points. And fame points are what eventually will win you the game. That is, if you don't flat out eliminate everybody. Okay, I picked up this curiosity, and there is something happening here. Yesterday, the tribe came across a vast tract of wild grain, the stalks swaying in the breeze like the wind playing over golden waters. The ground down grain could feed the tribe twice over, but one of the tribal elders had another idea. Instead of pounding the seeds into flour, he suggests planting half of them so the grass may return next summer. It is a curious idea, at odds with the nomadic life, but perhaps a harbinger of the future. What should you do? Now, I can immediately decide that I want to get +2 food on a city or an outpost, but I don't really have much use for that. Instead, I'm going to go with plant. This is going to give me a discount on domestication research when I actually start researching, and thereby I'll be able to much faster get this horse under control. Now then, let's continue exploring there. And I want you guys to continue exploring here. I did just cross a river, which gives you a movement penalty. Let's see, there's another scientific... Oh, sorry, another hidden unknown resource over there. This tribe is growing as well. This is the end of the territory here. Or rather, holy... This is a big territory, by the way. It spans all the way across the core of the continent. Okay, let's get another science curiosity. That was a good one. That was +3 science. So I don't need to pick up 10 of these. I just need to get a total of 10 science. I also have found a deer. This one I can attack. But currently I'm not too concerned or not too sure about my victory. Because I have 10 points of strength and they have 8. I really do not want to lose that fight. So instead, let's go on a little bit of a roundabout trip and go and find some other stuff. I'm going to move to the east here. There's another science curiosity. That's excellent. That's exactly what I was hoping to find. Now, somebody else has reached the ancient era. They have managed to get ahead of me by picking up potentially more food, so more growth stars, more science curiosities, or they have able to hunt a total of 5 animals, which I think is unlikely, but it is possible. And then they were able to advance to the next era, and they have chosen the Nubians. So the noobs are here, shall we say. Okay, let's get this one. I have 9 out of 10. And is there anything? Yes, there's another one. That means that I can also advance to the next era, which is perfect. I picked up this one as well. The nomadic tribe has reached the ancient era and has gone with the Harappans. There we go. I picked up the last of the science curiosity that I need, and I can now also advance to the next era. Let's do that. The Nubians, the Mycenaeans, and the Harappans are already taken. So I cannot pick any of these, but what I can show you is what sort of bonuses they get. These guys give fertile inundations, +1 food tile, producing on food and food on river. So they just generate more food in general. They also get the canal network as their exclusive building, and they can get runners as an exclusive unit. Again, these guys, of course, will get outdated as you go through the ages, but as you go through the ages, you also advance, and you will get a new special unit each time around. Now, in this era, I very much like to take the Babylonians to start getting my science up and running, because I get brilliant philosophers, +2 science per research technologies on capital. I also get the astronomy house, which gives me more science per adjacent farmer's quarter. So if I start building farms and have an astronomy house close to it, I gain a bonus. And let's go with adopting this. It gives you more information, which it also tells you what unique unit you have. And for me, it's the, I'm going to completely butcher this, the Sabu Sa Kosti, or Kasti. And these guys are pretty damn strong. 22 offensive power. They're also fairly expensive at +3. They are good at dealing with cavalry, and they are guardians, so stronger when standing on a friendly district. But in order to get them, I first need to have bronze working, and I need to have a resource of bronze. Let's confirm that, and I am now in the next turn going to be the Babylonians. We have a new speech over here. A tribe's legacy. You stand at a crossroads. For many moons, the tribe has trekked the wilderness, slowly, tortuously, learning the secrets of this world. How the materials hidden in the deep places and in plain sight might be fashioned to the tribe's advantage. How the beasts and plants of the lands and seas can be mostly fruitfully harvested. And how myths and stories can be glacially but inescapably given power over our greatest enemies, other tribes. Now you must decide in what domain the tribe will truly sharpen its knowledge for the ages to come. Will you be renowned as makers, farmers, or charmers? Makers gives me the wattle and daub legacy trait, which gives me more industry per population. Farmers gives me more food. And storytellers gives me astronomy legacy trait, which means more science. And as I'm going for a very heavy science build on this build, or on this playthrough, I'm going to go with storytellers. Now, it is time to start looking at claiming something, and this territory is looking pretty good. because it has the bronze and the copper, and that is what I need in order to get my special unit. So let's get these guys moving here and see if I can find a decent position to set up shop. Let's see about the guys over here. Explore a bit more east and see what we can find. In the distance, a thin cord of smoke cuts up into clear blue skies. Fire! Calling it for you tribesmen, you run closer, the smell of cindered bark and burning pine growing stronger with each footfall. You spy dancing flames, and suddenly you find yourself on the edge of a settlement on fire. Many of the structures are ablaze, but even with the smoke and flames, you can see the abodes are marvels of craftsmanship. You're about to direct your men to put out the fires with loose soil, when you see a short, shadowed figures running away. Youths. They could become part of your tribe if you wish to if you give chase now, but that means losing these secrets of construction. What is your choice? I can get these guys as part of my tribe, which gives me the new army of refugees. Or I can say, no, you know what? I want to know how to build stronger settlements. I'm more likely to have more use of new refugees, because that means I can explore more. So I'm going to put these guys to auto-explore and just let them roam around and pick up, for example, some nuts.
And the challenges of a young civilization. It's hard keeping up with the neighbors when they have the wheel and you don't. Humankind learns quickly that everyone contributes. If you're terrified of wild animals, you can grow lentils or catch fish. Tribes settle towns. Towns develop markets, and markets begin the exchange of goods, services, and most important, rumors and hearsay. This means more than just markets for the Babylonians. It's also the beginning of mathematics, astronomy, and a set of codified laws that I wouldn't want to be caught breaking.
Right, we have advanced to the next era, and with that I can start to set up a town. Of course, I first need to claim an outpost, and then you can develop that into a town. As opposed to, once again, civilization, which has a different way of doing it. You build a settler, and then you start to populate something. Now, I'm looking at the tiles over here to see if there are any good positions. If I can take a position somewhere around here, I can get quite a bit of construction bonus, but not so much food. Food is pretty sparse over here, unfortunately, but it is so close to all these resources that I'm just gonna do it. It might be trouble when it comes to getting more food, but we'll just have to make do. Now, the outpost here is called Helvetios, and currently I cannot rename it, but after you have completed construction in 3 turns, then I can rename it. Over here we had this group on Auto Explore, and I want this group on Manual Explorer heading further north. Now, this new era gives me a whole bunch of new objectives. Whereas previously I only needed 1 star, now I need a whole bunch. And in order to get those stars, I can get a couple of different, I can go about that in a couple of different ways. I can get expansionist stars, which means I need to own 6 territories attached to any city. I'll explain that in a bit as we're capturing more territory. I can get estate stars, which means I need to have 600 influence. Currently I'm not getting any, but when my town is operational I will have a trickle of influence. Builder stars means you need to have 6 districts, so basically attachments to your city. You have the option for militarist stars by destroying 6 military units. You have merchant stars by earning a lot of money. And you have agrarian stars, which means you have grown your population to 12. And 12 means that you get the first star, and then you get a sort of higher objective, which gives you another star if you complete it. And it also gives you fame points. And now we can see who has the most fame points. I am currently shared 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, if you will, because I only have 20. And we have 1 empire which has 70. And the last empire, the 7th, has none. They apparently are not yet in this modern era. Player 3 and 6 are. They have a star, but they just have not advanced to the next era yet. But they have now. They've picked the Mycenaeans. And the other guys have picked the Olmecs. Oh, sorry, Mycenaeans. There we go.
Their forts are rather formidable.
So they're actually pretty close. I'm over there with my town, or my wannabe town, and they're down there. Gina. They also have a bunch of mammoths. These guys are roaming around, and they can be hunted, but they give you, considerably more resistance than a deer. Matter of diplomacy. I can have a chat with these guys. Let's talk. This diplomacy screen is something that I am still trying to get a bit more familiar with. There are a few tabs. You have the general relationship, which means I can declare a surprise war, I can declare general war, or I can propose an alliance. Considering that we have basically no relationship whatsoever, I think an alliance is not going to go too well. I can trade stuff, although right now I do not have anything to trade. I don't have any resources, I don't have any strategic resources, so no thank you. And we can set up treaties. Peace-related treaties, such as trading luxuries, sharing the map, opening borders, and forming a non-aggression pact. And eventually you can also trade everything. And sometimes there will be a crisis. If they settle something close to me that I do not like, I can file a grievance. And they can either ignore it, or they can pay, and that is going to maintain our relationship. If you have too many grievances, you can say, you know what, I'm done with you, I'm going to declare war. And that's when their war support and your war support comes in. Because if your war support is not high enough, you can be forced to peace. Same for them. And there are various ways to increase and decrease this. Right now, this does mean that this area of the map is pretty much cut off for me, because I cannot enter their borders without an open borders agreement. Now, the guys over here, they have set up the outposts. They just needed to found it, and then they can move. So I suppose it's time to explore further north. You guys can continue on this way. Oh, there's more copper. Ah, sanctuary. Sanctuaries come in two different shapes. You have one, which is the sanctuary, and the other one's the lair. It's basically wildlife, and you can pillage it in exchange for coin. These guys want to trade luxuries, which is fine for me. I don't have much to trade, but if I can set up a decent relationship, then fine.
First outpost means a first step into a new territory, and a new extension of your empire's power, but also a new vulnerability.
Now, let's do one thing at a time. I have a battle happening here. My side is stronger overall, and I'm being attacked by, well, something. I'm not quite sure what. Time to go into a manual battle. You can also use instant resolution, but manual battle I find to be more interesting. This gives you the deployment phase, and that means I can set up where I want. Some of these tiles give you strategic bonuses, such as open ground is not ideal. But for example, standing over here where there's a river, that means that if they want to get to me, to attack me, they need to cross that river, which is good. I want them to do that, whoever they are. And down here is my flag. And the flag is something that can be captured. If the flag is captured and you just stand around and do nothing, you lose the battle. What we have coming up here is a bear. I lose 23 hit points in the encounter. And if I attack, I lose somewhere between 15 and 30, and he loses somewhere between 11 and 25. So I'm not particularly eager to do that. I want to hold, I want to just defend and let them come to me. Whereby that bear has to cross the river, and I get more defensive bonuses. He just lost a bunch more than I did, so I'm going to hold again. He's down quite low, but I am not. Hold again. And he left. The bear disengaged. I did not get any kind of reward for that. Alright, time to go over there. There's the bear. Let's pillage this place. The national sanctuary, or the natural sanctuary. And over here, we can take down some deer, which is going to give us food. Manual battle. I want to stand up all the way over there, because it is tall area. And it is, once again... actually, this is even better. This has a river and a forest. Slows unit movement and restricts vision, but provides a defensive bonus against missile fire. Heavily restricts unit movement and applies a heavy combat strength penalty, that river. So, have at it, my deer. I lost 25, but the deer lost a whole bunch more. Now then, if I go on the offensive, I lose some between -5 and 25, and they lose between 30 and 42. I'm going to do that in one turn. I first want them to attack me again. And now he's pretty much screwed. But he is on tall or on high ground. Whatever. We're going to go on the offensive. And now he attacked again, and he's dead. That gave me a bit of cash. I lost no units, but they lost the animal. And I need to get these guys back into my territory to start healing them up. So let's get them over here. Now, this town, or sorry, this outpost, Helvetios, can be upgraded into a town. It can evolve. Let's do that. And now I have the town of Babylon. I can set up various districts. These are things that come on the outside of your city. You also have things on the inside of your city in the form of infrastructure. In my case, this is currently only the Pottery Workshop, which gives me 4 influence. And thereby I can get 7 influence per tick, or per turn, which brings me closer to the estate star. And since that is a pretty nice passive bonus, I'm going to go with this first. I can also start doing research. And since I had that domestication on the cheap, I can get it in 5 turns instead of 8. So let's do that. Finally, with my town now operational and being in the next era, I can get this thing. This is a bonus / modifier that I can put on a town. And when I do this, I set a city in collective mode, or collective minds mode, which means that all the industry power, so all, let's say, production power, and all the, what was it, finance? Yeah, all the money, so +6, is going to get transformed into science. So the town does not produce anything but science, which means that with the Babylonians, you can pretty quickly rush the science stars and get 150 fame. And, of course, you can get a tech bonus. The downside to this strategy is that your town does not get any new kind of buildings as long as you're running that. Now, each different empire, each different nationality, if you will, has a different perk here. Some of them can claim outposts. Some of them are able to set up deposits or extractors on resources. My guys can do science, and there are a whole bunch of these. For now, I just want Babylon to grow, and I'm not going to use that scientist thing just yet. Ransack successful. I have gotten 10 gold from here. And now my guys are really not in a position to attack, so I'm going to bring them back. And now I'm going to start healing, because I am in my own territory. And you can see the territory now as a bold line, as opposed to the dotted line that it was when I only had an outpost there. Speaking of, I can set up an outpost over here in this second area and have that area attached to Babylon. And by doing that, I make sure that... Let's heal you up first. I make sure that I still get access to the horse. And that way I have, for this era, 2 pretty critical strategic resources. Copper and horses. Alright, these guys are also going to heal. Where is my other scouting party? Oh, they're down here. They're going to pick up something. There's a discovery down there. Domestication has been researched, and I found a curiosity, a ruined shrine, which provides plus 10 science and 10 influence. Thank you kindly. Moving on. Granary, plus 2 food per farmers. This is going to make the town grow a bit faster. Can end the turn again. These guys have been healed up. And let's move to here to start setting up an outpost. Now, an outpost, as I have shown you, can be turned into a town at a price. It's not cheap. And I can only currently have 2 cities. You can have more if you so desire, but at a price. You're going to be taking a pretty big hit to the amount of influence that you're getting per turn. Alright, these guys have also been healed up. We're going to do this with an instant resolution, because I am very sure I'm going to win that. And that means that I will have gotten a bit more spoils of war. Alright, the thing that I built is done. That is the Pottery Workshop, so that's why I have +7 influence now. And I can now set up the Astronomy House, which gives me +3 science per additional, or per adjacent farmer's quarter. But I don't have any farmer's quarters, so let's set up one first. If I hover over this, you can see it's going to give me +5 food, but it's going to cost me 2 production, and it's going to reduce the stability in a town. Nevertheless, I feel like I have to have at least one bit of farming. And these are really the only areas where I can do it. So let's set one up over there. End the turn. These guys, let's get you to pick up whatever curiosity we have here. Plus 60 gold from carcasses. This could actually be a pretty nice place to set up an outpost, because you got a big overview of the surrounding area. There. Alula Australis. These guys can heal up again after successfully battling that animal. And you guys... Well, there's not that much to auto-explore down here. Taking down animals, I believe, does not count for military stars because they're not military units. So it's not that beneficial, aside from gaining cash. And gaining cash is useful if you want to get the merchant stars. Or it would be if it did not say earn. It says earn, which means I need to get it through ticking and not through battling. Because right now I only have 18, whereas I already have 98 money. So it's not taking that into account. Anyway, I'm going to leave you guys here as this first episode. Next episode is coming Wednesday in 2 days from now. Or if you're watching this later, it might already be up. I'm going to be taking you through the ages, and be sure to subscribe if you haven't already, if you want to keep up with this series. There will also be a playlist linked down below and at the end of the video, and that way you can follow along with the scenario if you haven't seen the previous parts yet. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know what your thoughts are down below in the comment section, and I shall see you guys soon in 2 days for the next episode. See you then.